My friends, I want to start today by sharing a simple but profound story. A man was out walking through the woods one day, enjoying the sights and sounds of nature. As he came around a bend in the trail, he stumbled upon a colossal grizzly bear. The man froze, realizing this powerful beast could tear him apart with ease. But then he remembered an adage that you should never turn and run from a grizzly, as that can trigger its predatory instincts. So instead of fleeing, the man stood his ground, made himself appear as big as possible, waved his arms wildly, and let out a mighty roar. To his astonishment, the grizzly backed away slowly and eventually lumbered off into the forest, leaving the man unharmed. Now, why do I share this story? Because it perfectly illustrates the power of acting as if that man knew the reality that the grizzly could have destroyed him without breaking a sweat. But rather than accepting that perceived limitation and giving in to fear, he acted as if he was the dominant force in that encounter. He projected strength, power, and ferocity. And incredibly, this allowed him to overcome what seemed like an insurmountable obstacle. You see, my friends, this principle of acting as if is one of the most potent tools we have to break through the self-imposed limits that so often hold us back in life. We are frequently shackled, not by our actual capabilities, but by our perception of what is possible based on past experiences, assumptions, and we become masters of acting as if and unlock our vast unutilized potential. We must diligently undermine these false limits by acting as if they simply do not exist. And the beautiful irony is that by acting as if we have no limits, those perceived limitations begin to dissolve and crumble away. Let me give you another vivid example that hits closer to home for many of us. The area of public speaking. Few things strike more paralytic terror into people's hearts than having to give a speech or a presentation in front of a crowd. The fears kick in, what if I freeze up? What if I make a fool of myself? What if my mind goes blank? I have a friend who used to be incredibly anxious about public speaking. He would be gripped by intense anxiety and panic attacks leading up to any speaking engagement. But one day, he decided he had to overcome this immense psychological block. So before his next speech, he kept telling himself, I am a gifted, commanding public speaker. I captivate audiences effortlessly. My words flow like water off a duck's back. In other words, he acted as if he was a world-class orator, even though his experience up to that point told him the opposite. And you know what happened? My friend delivered what he said was the best speech of his life up to that point. His words were passionate, articulate, and impactful. He connected with the audience in a way he never had before. All because instead of succumbing to the artificial limits imposed by his fears, he acted with the bravery and confidence of someone who knew he could be brilliant on that stage. These examples underscore one of the primary reasons we must learn to act as if. Because we all too often underestimate our own capabilities based on our past experiences and self-perceptions. How many of you have told yourself at some point, I'm just not good at things like that, or that's too hard for someone like me, or I'll never be able to do that? By framing things in those terms, we are automatically placing limits on ourselves. We are resigning ourselves to remaining small, playing it safe, and never unleashing our spectacular human potential. But think about this for a moment. When we were infants first learning to crawl and eventually walk, did any of us quit after a few failed attempts because we concluded that walking must not be for someone like us? No, we kept trying, stumbling, falling down and getting back up, acting as if we could absolutely conquer the mastery of walking, even though all evidence pointed to the contrary at first. We must learn to tap into that unrestrained confidence and belief we had as children. We must learn to act as if nothing can stop us from achieving any dream or goal we set for ourselves. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking is, sure, it's easy to talk about acting as if, but how can I sustain that mindset in the face of continued setbacks, disappointments, and failures? That's a fair question, but the answer is that acting as if is not just a passing attitude. It is a way of life and way of being that takes consistent practice and nurturing, but it is absolutely worth the effort because living this principle creates a positive feedback loop of belief, action, and results that build upon themselves. Let me share a story with you to illustrate. There was once a young man growing up in the inner city who had a dream of one day becoming a wealthy businessman and philanthropist. But all around him were poverty, crime, and hopelessness that would seem to make such ambitions unrealistic. But this young man made a decision early on to act as if there was nothing that could stop him or limit his potential for greatness despite his circumstances. He didn't just wish for success. He began carrying himself with the confidence, focus, and work ethic of someone who had already achieved it. He developed the habits, mindset, and self-discipline of a highly successful person. And when he faced obstacles, as we all inevitably do on the path to any great dream, rather than accepting those roadblocks as affirmation of his limitations, he acted as if they were mere temporary setbacks that could be overcome. And incredibly, by maintaining this mindset, those challenges and setbacks did start to clear away. Opportunities began opening up. People started taking notice of his talent and drive, and one step led to the next. The result? That young man went on to found one of the most inspiring and impactful nonprofit organizations in recent history, transforming the lives of millions around the world by acting as if there were no limits to his potential. His name was John Gardner, and the mighty organization he started to build brighter futures for disadvantaged youth is the International Association of Student Councils and Honor Societies. By acting as if nothing could stop him, he shattered every limitation that could have held him back and achieved greatness beyond his wildest dreams. Now that's an extreme example, but it vividly shows what can happen when we tenaciously and consistently act as if our potential has no limits. I want you to take a moment now and reflect on the biggest goals and dreams you have for your life. What incredible heights could you scale if you truly removed all self-imposed limits through your mindset and actions? What fulfilling feeling does it give you to imagine acting as if achieving those grand visions is inevitable? Don't let fears, doubts, pessimism, or perceived shortcomings hold you back any longer. Resolve today to let go of the limits you've accepted in the past and act as if you are unstoppable in the relentless pursuit of your highest ambitions and ideals. Does this mean everything will instantly become easy or that you'll never face adversity again? Of course not, but acting as if transforms the way you approach and respond to challenges. Rather than letting them stop you, they become temporary obstacles to overcome. Rather than seeing barriers, you begin seeing opportunities. After all, think of the challenges faced by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all those who acted boldly in the fight for civil rights in the 1950s and 1960s. They were confronted by institutionalized racism, prejudice, hatred, and even violence at every turn. Yet they acted as if justice, equality, and human dignity were not only possible but inevitable. Dr. King did not achieve his incredible impact through meek acceptance of limitations, but by acting as if every human being deserved the rights enshrined in the U.S. Constitution regardless of skin color. And as we have since seen through the immense progress that has been made, their bold actions as if had resounding impacts far beyond their lifetimes. By acting as if institutionalized racism's days were numbered, they began to make that seemingly impossible vision a reality. The 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, was known for his unshakable belief in unlimited potential and acting as if greatness were a certainty. Here's what he wrote. "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly." Roosevelt captured the spirit of acting as if that by daring greatly, striving valiantly, and believing in our unlimited potential, we can live triumphant lives of high achievement regardless of the final outcome or results. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but how do I actually start transforming my mindset and acting as if more consistently? The first step is to vividly reaffirm that you have immense reservoirs of untapped potential within you. Reflect on the abilities and talents you already possess in at least some areas of your life. Then consider how much more you could expand and amplify that excellence if you released all limits on what is possible. Next, set clear goals and visions for grander levels of fulfillment, achievement, and impact in the areas most important to you. And don't hold back. Set targets that may seem audacious or implausible right now based on your current circumstances. You're not being arrogant. You're simply acting as if. With those exciting goals affirmed, now start acting as if their attainment is assured. Not just fleeting thoughts, but sustained beliefs, habits, and actions. Carry yourself with the poise, confidence, and capabilities of someone who has already achieved those grand visions. Make acting as if your default way of being. And critically, anytime you catch yourself reverting back to old fears, doubts, and limiting thoughts or behaviors, immediately reject them as disempowering half-truths. Replace them at once with empowering reminders that you are acting as if you have limitless potential. Act with bold conviction, then watch how potential begins turning into reality. Now, I know maintaining this mindset requires diligence and perseverance, especially early on when it runs counter to so many ingrained patterns, assumptions, and previous experiences. There will be times you stumble or falter, which is perfectly normal and human. When that happens, don't beat yourself up or allow those missteps to gain psychological footholds. Simply reset, refocus, and act as if surmounting those setbacks is assured. As I look out at this room today, I see people from all walks of life and all sorts of backgrounds, circumstances, and levels of experience. And yet what I also see in every single one of you is vast, untapped potential waiting to be unlocked. Each of you has unique gifts, talents, ideas, and dreams that only you can bring to the world. The only question is whether you will timidly accept the limits you perceive around you or boldly cast them aside by acting as if your potential is truly limitless. As the legendary motivator Earl Nightingale once says, "Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality." So plant the potent seed that you are someone who acts as if you can achieve greatness and shatter any limitations holding you back. Nourish that mindset daily with conviction, consistent action, and all the enthusiasm you can muster. And I promise you that if you persevere in wholeheartedly mastering the mindset of acting as if you staunchly refuse to be derailed by setbacks or negated by skeptics and critics, then inevitably you will start experiencing profound breakthroughs, growth, and achievement beyond what you currently believe is possible. One breakthrough will lead to another in an upward spiral, as acting as if unleashes compounding levels of confidence, courage, and momentum in your life. Old limits will drop away as new exciting realities and fresh levels of human potential come blazing into view. Acting as if someone of limitless potential creates a powerful self-fulfilling prophecy. So make that commitment today, my friends. Shed any limits, doubts, or fears that have restrained you up until now. Give yourself the great gift of releasing your full human potential and daring to live a life of unbounded achievement, growth, and fulfillment. Simply start by acting as if nothing can limit your potential. A path to greatness in any field or any area of life begins with taking that first brave step forward and acting as if. Nothing can stop the person who refuses to be stopped. Nothing can limit the potential of the person who rejects all limits. With commitment, courage, and perseverance in acting as if, you can absolutely expand into the greatest version of yourself. So go forward with bold enthusiasm to start acting as if today. Don't let another year go by remaining stuck in self-imposed limitations. Instead, let this be the year you finally set yourself free to soar toward the incredible heights I know you are capable of. Nothing can stop you if you simply choose to act as if it is so. One of the most powerful ways to reinforce the mindset of acting as if is through the intentional use of affirming language and self-talk. The thoughts and words we choose to focus on have a profound impact on shaping our beliefs, emotions, and actions. We must be vigilant about eliminating any limiting, negative, or self-defeating language from our internal narratives. Phrases like, I can't, that's too hard for me, I'm not good enough, or it'll never work become self-fulfilling prophecies when we dwell on them. Instead, we need to consciously replace those disempowering thoughts with affirmations that are aligned with acting as if we have limitless potential. Start verbalizing statements. I am capable of achieving anything I commit myself to. Obstacles are just temporary. My perseverance is unstoppable. I have all the talents and abilities within me to create my dream life. I am acting with the mindset of someone who has already accomplished my grandest goals. The more you immerse yourself in affirmations like these, the more you begin reprogramming your subconscious mind to accept them as unquestioned truth. What you focus on and speak into existence has immense power. This is why, if you listen closely, those who consistently achieve at the highest levels tend to use very intentional, confident, and empowering language when talking about their ambitions and abilities. They aren't being arrogant. They are mastering the art of acting as if by using language aligned with limitless potential. Another key aspect of acting as if is actively seeking out environments, relationships, and situations that reinforce and inspire that liberating mindset. We are greatly influenced, whether we realize it or not, by the mental food we consume from our surroundings. If you spend the majority of your time around people who are cynical, negative, full of doubts, and preoccupied with perceived limitations, you will unconsciously internalize those limited thought patterns over time by osmosis. It becomes exponentially more difficult to maintain a mindset of acting as if your potential is unbounded. But when you purposefully expose yourself to compelling examples of people acting as if and achieving at the highest levels, you get an inspiring, energetic charge that propels your own efforts. Seek out role models, mentors, environments, and material that continuously remind you of what is possible. Read and study the philosophies of those who refuse to accept limits like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. Learn from titans of acting as if like Oprah Winfrey, who shattered barriers with her mindset. Immerse yourself in any content that elevates your perspective toward acting as if nothing can limit your rise. Critically, be fiercely protective about who and what you allow into your proverbial mental garden. Just as you would protect a delicate seedling from harsh elements, nurture your mindset of acting as if limitless potential with utmost care and discernment. This protective nurturing extends to how you respond to inevitable critics, naysayers, and doubters. Throughout history, every person who acted boldly as if greatness was inevitable despite their circumstances faced a chorus of voices telling them it was impossible or they didn't have what it takes. When you commit to acting as if and start defying perceived limitations, you will undoubtedly be met with skepticism and attempts by others to revive your old fears and doubts. Their critiques and negative energy stems from their own limiting beliefs being challenged. But here's the beautiful thing. Their doubts only have as much power over your acting as if mindset as you choose to give them. You get to decide whether to accept those limits or charge boldly forward as if those voices were simply insecure background noise. Anytime you face pushback or pessimism, recognize it for what it is. Someone else's untapped fears projecting onto you. Then actively disregard those voices as distractions misaligned with your vision. Reaffirm that you are acting as if your boundless potential is fact, and their doubts are irrelevant fictions that cannot gain any traction. Stay grounded in your conviction by reminding yourself, of all the inspiring examples throughout history of those who acted as if despite overwhelming doubts, only to eventually manifest their once impossible achievements. Anytime the seeds of doubt start sprouting, aggressively replant those empowering reminders as if your success is predetermined. Additionally, regularly revisit and reaffirm your motivations for acting as if nothing can limit your potential. Connect deeply with the profound reasons and emotional energy driving your desires. What impact do you want to have on the world? How do you want to grow and challenge yourself? What would giving any power to limitations cost you in terms of lasting fulfillment? When you vividly reinforce those whys, the hows of acting as if become energizing necessities rather than draining disciplines. Your motivations create an inspiring source of fuel that continually reignites your commitment to acting boldly as if when challenges or doubts arise. Finally, acting as if requires the vulnerability to sometimes act ahead of your current competence and skill levels while maintaining faith that your capacities will expand to match your efforts. There will be times when your dreams demand you step into roles, situations, or skills that currently seem outside your capabilities based on your direct experience. Rather than letting that perceived gap limit you, act as if you already have the talents needed and adopt the mindset that your development will rapidly accelerate to meet those new challenges. You've heard the analogy of being a duckling being raised by eagles. When the young duckling witnesses those mighty eagles soaring to heights, it's never experienced. It has two choices: accept its perceived limitations as a ground dweller, or start acting as if it too can spread its wings and achieve soaring heights. By acting as if with conviction despite its current form, the duckling eventually undergoes a profound transformation into the eagle it always had the potential to become. That's the power of this principle when applied with courage and consistency. So today, choose to act as if your potential has absolutely no limits. Start carrying yourself as someone of ultimate confidence, resilience, and capabilities. Refuse to accept anything less than your grandest visions for fulfillment and positive impact. Let go of all past habits, assumptions, and experiences that could restrict you. Those limits only have the power you give them. You are a limitless creator with the power to transform any aspect of your inner or outer world. Act as if this is your truest self, and watch how rapidly your reality starts bending to align with that empowering new vision. I'll leave you with one final thought from the great Walt Disney, who embodied the principle of acting as if when it came to manifesting his impossible dream. All dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Starting today, pursue your biggest dreams and highest ambitions with the courageous mindset of acting as if your potential has no limitations, because it is finally time to let your boundless capacity soar. Today I want to talk to you about an idea that might just change the way you see everything in your life. Your goals. Imagine if every morning you woke up with one clear vision. Nothing matters more than your goals. What would your life look like if you lived like that? I know, for many, the concept of prioritizing goals above all else might seem too stark, too focused. But think about it. Isn't life essentially about pursuit? The pursuit of happiness, of success, of meaning? Your goals are the purest expression of your deepest desires, the roadmap to your personal success. They are not just checkpoints on a list. They represent the essence of who you aspire to be. We'll start with a simple question. What do you really want? I mean, really want, not what someone else has decided for you, not what you've been told to want, but what you deep down crave for your life. This isn't just about material achievements or reaching the peak of your career. It's about fulfillment, about carving out a life that feels intrinsically yours. Consider the goals you have set for yourself. Are they truly yours, or are they influenced by societal expectations, by the pressures that come from outside, rather than the passions that burn within? To act as if nothing matters more than your goals, you first need to ensure these goals are a true reflection of your inner self. The next step is commitment. True commitment, the kind of commitment where distractions falter against the clarity of your vision. It's easy to say, I'm committed to my goal, but what does that commitment look like in action? It's waking up early, sometimes before the rest of the world stirs. It's staying up late, reviewing your progress, adjusting your plan. It's choosing to learn something new, even when you feel settled in your current knowledge. Let me ask you another question. How do you deal with obstacles? Everyone faces them. Sometimes obstacles can make your goals feel too distant, your path too difficult. But what if you saw each obstacle as a test of how much you want your goal? Each challenge, each setback is an opportunity to reaffirm just how much your goals mean to you. And about failure, yes, you will fail. That's inevitable. But here's something to consider. In each failure, isn't there a lesson that brings you closer to your goal? If you act as if nothing matters more than your goals, then each failure is merely a stepping stone, not a roadblock. Imagine the power of living like this. Every decision you make, every action you take is propelled by one defining purpose. How would this change the way you approach your day? The energy you bring to your tasks, the persistence you apply to your challenges? Now consider the people around you, the ones who truly matter. How do they fit into this vision? Pursuing your goals doesn't mean disregarding the love and support of others. Instead, it's about integrating your goals into a balanced life where relationships also thrive on the energy of your purpose. This way of living isn't just about achieving goals. It's about setting a standard for your life that is unyielding, that doesn't waver when times get tough or when distractions beckon. It's about a steadfast focus that enriches every part of your life, providing a sense of achievement and contentment. This steadfast focus is not just a practice, but a profound commitment to excellence in every dimension of your life. Imagine this is not merely pursuing a list of goals, but cultivating a garden where every seed you plant is a purposeful stride towards greatness, each with its own time to bloom and season to thrive. Now, you might ask, how does one maintain such focus? It begins with the daily rituals, the small habits that collectively steer your life in the direction of your dreams. It's about the books you read, the thoughts you nurture, the company you keep. Each element must align with your ultimate objectives. You are essentially curating your life, much like an artist with painstaking attention to detail, color, and texture. Consider the power of a single day. We all have the same 24 hours, yet how we use those hours sets us apart. Do you allow your day to happen to you, or do you take charge and mold it to your will? Begin each day with a clear plan. What can you do today that will bring you one step closer to where you want to be? Time must be treated with reverence, for it is the canvas on which you paint the masterpiece of your life. Let's talk about discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. It is not a punishment, but a liberation. It frees you from the whims of circumstance and the chaos of the unguided mind. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. Especially then, it means controlling your impulses rather than being controlled by them. Embrace discipline, for it is the true foundation upon which the temple of your success is built. And as you forge this path, remember to measure your progress. Keep a journal, not just of what you've done, but of how you've grown. Reflection is a powerful tool. It allows you to see not just where you've gone, but also the subtle ways in which you've changed. It reminds you that every small effort is part of a larger journey towards fulfillment. In your pursuit, be prepared to recalibrate your strategies. Be nimble. The road to success is never a straight line. It's a path through rugged terrain, and you must be as adaptable as you are steadfast. When an approach no longer serves you, have the courage to change it. Flexibility within the framework of your goals is not a sign of weakness, but of intelligence. Now, what about the company you keep? Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Look around you. Are you surrounded by people who challenge you, who stretch your thinking and bolster your spirits? Or are those in your circle pulling you back, clouding your vision with their doubts and fears? Choose companions who reflect the future you wish to create. As you climb higher, you'll find that the air changes, and so do the people who walk with you. Some will fall away, a natural and necessary pruning. Others will prove themselves as true companions. Cherish these relationships. They are rare and invaluable. Furthermore, don't neglect the role of health in your quest. A strong body harbors a strong mind. Exercise, eat well, and rest. Remember, a car cannot run on an empty tank, and neither can you. Your body is the vessel that carries you towards your dreams. Treat it with care. In your pursuit, also find time for silence, for solitude. It is in quiet moments of reflection that the greatest ideas often come, rising like the sun over a calm sea. Solitude is not loneliness, but a peaceful state where creativity and clarity thrive. Lastly, remember to give back. Success is not just about what you accumulate, but what you contribute. The true measure of a life well lived is not found in the stockpile of your treasures, but in the lives you touch. Every day, ask yourself, who can I help today? How can I serve? This is the essence of great achievement. Living with an unyielding standard for your life, where nothing matters more than your goals, enriches not just yourself, but the world around you. It creates a legacy, a story worth telling, and a life worth living. So take charge, embrace the discipline, cultivate the relationships, maintain your health, seek solitude, and always aim to contribute. Living with an unyielding standard, where your goals reign supreme, not only shapes a life of personal achievement, but also casts a wider net of influence that touches those around you. The pursuit of your dreams is not a solitary journey, but a collective adventure that inspires, motivates, and uplifts those who witness your dedication. Think about the power of legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? Is it the wealth you've accumulated, the positions you've held, or rather the impact you've had on the lives of others? True greatness comes not from what we acquire for ourselves, but what we give back to the world. Every action taken in pursuit of your goals has the potential to echo across generations, forming a bridge of inspiration that encourages others to also strive for excellence. As you carve out your path, embrace the discipline required to achieve greatness. Discipline is more than routine. It is a commitment to your highest standards. It is choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, the future over the immediate. Discipline is the bedrock upon which resilience is built, allowing you to withstand the storms of doubt and setbacks. When you live discipline, not only do you move closer to your goals, but you also become a beacon of reliability and steadfastness to those around you. Moreover, cultivating relationships in this journey is vital. Humans are inherently social beings, and no one achieves anything alone. The relationships you foster can provide support, offer new perspectives, and challenge you to grow. Invest in people who share your values and vision, and together, you can amplify your impact. Remember, the strength of your network can often determine the height of your success. Maintaining your health is equally crucial. Well cared for body and mind are your greatest assets in the pursuit of a goal. Regular exercise, a nutritious diet, and adequate rest are not luxuries, but necessities that enable peak performance. Health is wealth, as it ensures that you have the energy and vitality to pursue your passions relentlessly. In your quest for achievement, do not underestimate the power of solitude. In silence and separation from the chaos of everyday life, you can hear your inner voice more clearly. It is in these moments of solitude that you can truly reflect on your progress, reassess your strategies, and regenerate your spirit. Solitude provides the space to think deeply, free from distraction and influence, allowing for introspection and creative exploration. Contributing to the world around you should be a key element of your life's work. Each of us has unique gifts and talents that, when shared, can make a significant difference in the community and the world at large. Whether it's mentoring others, Volunteering or creating solutions to problems, every contribution counts. The fulfillment derived from giving is unparalleled and enriches your life in ways material success cannot. As you advance towards your goals, carry with you the wisdom that each step taken in true earnest is a step towards a richer life. Setbacks and failures are not signs of cessation, but are. In fact, part of the learning curve, each providing invaluable lessons that propel you further along your path. Embrace these experiences, learn from them, and use them to fortify your resolve. Remember, the journey towards achieving your goals is also about evolving as an individual. With each goal met, you not only get closer to your dreams, but also become a more rounded, insightful, and compassionate human being. This transformation within yourself is perhaps the greatest achievement, for it transcends the tangible and shapes the essence of who you are. Encourage others in their pursuits as well. Leadership is not about wielding power, but about empowering others. Share your journey, the lessons learned, the hurdles overcome, and the joy of pursuing something greater than yourself. Your story can ignite the flame of ambition in others, showing them that it is possible to rise, to rebuild, and to succeed. In conclusion, living a life where nothing matters more than your goals does not mean neglecting other aspects of your life. Instead, it means integrating your goals into a holistic approach that values relationships, health, personal growth, and contribution equally. This integrated approach ensures that your success is balanced, sustainable, and impactful, leaving a legacy that is not only about what you achieve, but how you lived. So, take charge of your destiny today. Embrace the full spectrum of your life's potential and stride forward with confidence and purpose. Your path is yours to shape. Make it a story worth telling, a life worth admiring, and a legacy worth leaving behind. So take charge of your destiny today. Embrace the full spectrum of your life's potential and stride forward with confidence and purpose. Your path is yours to shape. Make it a story worth telling, a life worth admiring, and a legacy worth leaving behind. From this moment on, let every decision, every action, and every moment be driven by your unwavering commitment to your goals. Think about what you truly want to achieve. Picture it clearly in your mind. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Hold on to that vision, for it will guide you through the challenges and the triumphs that lie ahead. Remember, every day presents a new opportunity to make progress toward your dreams. It's not just about big actions. Small, consistent steps can lead to massive achievements over time. Whether it's improving your skills, deepening your knowledge, or expanding your network, every effort counts. Make the most of each day by setting clear, achievable tasks that contribute to your larger goal. Reflect on your progress regularly. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and learn from the setbacks. These aren't just obstacles. They're lessons that teach resilience, determination, and flexibility, qualities that are indispensable on the road to success. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I improve? With each answer, you'll find yourself stronger and more capable than before. Furthermore, surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Seek out mentors and peers who challenge you to grow and excel. Their wisdom and encouragement can be invaluable, offering new perspectives and insights that can propel you forward. Remember, you're not alone on this path. By building a supportive community, you share in the journey, multiplying your joys and dividing your challenges. Now, take a moment to think about your health, both physical and mental. These are the foundations upon which your ambitions are built. Without good health, reaching your goals becomes exponentially harder. Nurture your body with proper nutrition, exercise, and rest. Care for your mind with positive thoughts, stress management, and meaningful connections. When you're strong in body and spirit, you're unstoppable. Moreover, never underestimate the power of giving back. Success isn't measured by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute. How can you use your achievements to make a difference? Whether it's mentoring others, volunteering your time, or supporting a cause you're passionate about. Your actions can leave a lasting impact on the world. As you move forward, embrace the journey with passion and enthusiasm. Let your life be driven by curiosity and a desire to achieve the extraordinary. Challenge the status quo, ask questions, and seek out new experiences. This isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about growing and thriving. So today, choose to live a life that you're proud of. Take steps toward your dreams with determination and courage. Know that each choice you make is part of a larger narrative you're creating, a narrative of success, of growth, and of contribution. This is your life, and it's up to you to make it remarkable. Finally, remember that your path is unique. Don't compare your journey to others. Focus on your own goals and progress. You have everything you need within you to succeed. Trust in your abilities, believe in your dreams, and act with conviction. Your future is not determined by chance, but by choice. Every decision, every step, every moment is an opportunity to move closer to your ideal life. Seize these opportunities with both hands and don't look back. Ahead lies a world of possibilities waiting for you to make your mark. So keep pushing forward. Stay true to your values, stay focused on your goals, and stay open to learning and growing. With each step, you are writing your own story. A story of perseverance, resilience, and success. So keep pushing forward. Stay true to your values. Stay focused on your goals. And stay open to learning and growing. With each step, you are writing your own story. A story of perseverance, resilience, and success. As you continue to move forward, let's talk about maintaining focus. We live in a world full of distractions. The noise can drown out our inner voice, the one that tells us what we truly want and how we can achieve it. To succeed, you must learn to tune out the distractions and focus on what really matters to you. It might mean saying no to certain activities, or it might mean dedicating specific hours of your day to work towards your goals. Whatever your strategy, the key is consistency. Stick to your plan and don't let anything or anyone pull you off course. Remember also that focus doesn't mean rigidness. Being truly focused means being flexible, adaptable to the twists and turns that life inevitably throws your way. Sometimes the path to your goal isn't a straight line. Be ready to pivot, to reassess, and if necessary, to forge a new path based on the circumstances you face. It's not about sticking to a plan just because it's the plan. It's about sticking to the goal even if the plan changes. Furthermore, it's essential to cultivate a strong work ethic. Nothing worth having comes easy. It requires hard work, dedication, and a commitment to never settling for less than your best. Every day, ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. If it isn't, it's time to make a change. And while you're working hard, don't forget to also work smart. Learn from others who have been where you want to go. Read books, listen to podcasts, attend workshops. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is superpower. It's not just about collecting information. It's about transforming that information into action. Also, take care of your mental and emotional health. High aspirations can bring high levels of stress and pressure. Find healthy ways to manage this stress. Maybe it's through meditation, or perhaps through regular physical activity, or even by pursuing a hobby that brings you joy and relaxation. Remember, a balanced life is a better life. It's also important to be patient. Success doesn't come overnight. Many people give up just when they're about to achieve success. They lose heart because the journey is harder and longer than they anticipated. Don't be one of those people. Be someone who persists, who keeps going even when the going gets tough. In your journey, be grateful for the progress you make and for the people who support you along the way. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessing. Let gratitude be the lens through which you see your life. It will change how you perceive challenges and setbacks. Keep your integrity at all times. It's more valuable than the most precious diamond. Integrity brings peace to your life and builds trust with others. When you are true to your words and deeds, your journey becomes smoother and more fulfilling. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem. Celebrating your successes helps build momentum and makes your journey enjoyable. Set up milestones on your path to your big goals and celebrate when you reach them. These celebrations will fuel your journey and remind you why you started in the first place. Lastly, never stop dreaming. Once you achieve one goal, set a new one. Life is a continuous journey of learning, growing, and evolving. Each goal achieved is a stepping stone to the next. Dreams keep you motivated and energized. They give you something to strive for. Keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep pushing forward. By embracing these principles, you are not just chasing success. You are building a life of meaning and happiness. You are crafting a story that is not only about achieving goals, but also about overcoming obstacles, learning from mistakes, and growing stronger through adversity. Remember, every day is a new chapter in your life. You have the power to make it a great one. So take charge, embrace your path with courage and optimism, and remember that your potential is limitless. Continue to push forward, keep your eyes on the prize, and let every step you take be purposeful and driven towards the ultimate goal of not just success, but a life well lived and well loved. This is your story. Make it one that you and others will look back on with pride and joy. Now, let's talk about facing setbacks, because they are a part of every great endeavor. When you encounter difficulties, view them as opportunities to learn and to grow stronger. It's not the problems that define our lives, but how we choose to respond to them. Instead of feeling defeated, ask yourself, what can this teach me? The lessons learned from overcoming difficulties are invaluable and will prepare you for future challenges. Keep in mind that true growth often feels uncomfortable at first. It's like stretching muscles that you haven't used before. It might be tough and it might hurt, but it makes you stronger. Remember, comfort might feel good, but it doesn't help you to grow. So, when you're feeling uncomfortable, know that it's a sign of growth. Embrace it. Stay true to what's important to you. In the rush of daily tasks and deadlines, it's easy to lose sight of your true goals and values. Make it a habit to regularly remind yourself of what truly matters to you. This will keep your focus sharp and your actions aligned with your goals. Also, don't go it alone. Share your dreams and plans with those you trust and respect. They can offer support, advice, and encouragement that will strengthen your resolve and broaden your perspectives. In tough times, a few words of encouragement from a friend or a mentor can be the boost you need to keep going. Be consistent in your efforts. Success isn't the result of a single, massive effort, but the accumulation of small, daily efforts. Consistency turns practices into habits, and habits form the foundation of an accomplished life. So do something every day that moves you towards your goal. It doesn't always have to be a big step, but it has to push your story forward. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to make an impact. Don't dwell on what went wrong yesterday. Instead, focus on what you can do right today. Every morning brings a new chance to start again, to correct the course, and to move closer to your dreams. Celebrate every victory along the way, no matter how small. These celebrations keep your spirits up and reinforce your motivation. They remind you that progress is being made, even when the end goal seems far away. Plus, celebrating is fun. It adds joy to the journey and keeps you from burning out. Prepare for the long haul. Achieving meaningful goals takes time. Be patient with yourself and persistent in your efforts. The road to success is often long and winding, so pace yourself. Find joy in the journey, not just the destination. And as you make this journey, don't forget to look around and appreciate where you are right now. Enjoy the moment, the people, and the challenges. This moment is your life as much as any destination you are aiming for. Life is not just about the goals we achieve, but also about the experiences we have along. Lastly, always keep the door open to new possibilities. Life can surprise you with opportunities you never expected. Be open to change and ready to seize new opportunities that align with your values and goals. Your path might shift as you grow and learn, but as long as you stay true to yourself and your aspirations, you'll continue to live a life filled with meaning and joy. So take today and make it yours. Take action, learn from each experience, and move forward with determination and optimism. Build your story one day at a time, one step at a time. This is your journey, and you have the power to make it truly remarkable. Let it be one that inspires, that matters, and that truly makes a difference. That's how you create a life that's not only successful, but also deeply fulfilling and rich in joy. My friends, I want to start today by sharing a little story with you. When I was a young man just starting out, I had big dreams, but very little in the way of resources or achievements to show for it. I remember one day sitting in a little coffee shop, looking around at all the successful business people coming and going in their fancy suits, and I thought to myself, one day that's going to be me. I'm going to be wealthy, confident, and in control of my own destiny. But as I looked down at my scuffed shoes and secondhand clothes, it seemed like more of a fantasy than anything realistic. How could this broke kid from a small town ever become one of those high flyers? It would have been so easy to just give up on those dreams right then and there. Thankfully, though, I had the presence of mind to catch myself before slipping into doubt and despair. I made a decision in that moment that changed the entire trajectory of my life. I decided that instead of waiting to have the trappings of success before I started acting successful, I would adopt that mindset immediately. I would stride into that coffee shop every morning like I already owned the place. I would shake hands, make eye contact, and carry myself with the poise and confidence of a millionaire entrepreneur. By simply acting as if I already possessed the qualities I admired in others, those qualities began to materialize within me. My confidence grew, opportunities seemed to fall into my lap, and one by one, my dreams started becoming reality. All because I learned one of the most powerful principles for creating the life you want. You have to act as if you already have what it is you desire. The philosophers and spiritual teachers of ancient times were well aware of this truth. Over 2,000 years ago, Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Thinks in Hindu scriptures advice. What you think, you become. The Bible states, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Modern neuroscience has also validated this principle. Thanks to neuroplasticity, the ability of our brains to alter their structure and function through thought and behavior. We literally reinvent ourselves by focusing on new beliefs and acting them out consistently. Your mindset shapes your reality. If you approach life feeling inadequate and undeserving, a lack of confidence will undermine your efforts. You'll miss or dismiss opportunities because they don't fit your self-imposed limitations. But if you show up each day acting as if you've already achieved your vision of success, you'll be primed to spot the chances that move you closer to that vision. The funny thing is, by behaving as if we're exceptional, we become exceptional. I found that if you convince yourself by saying it enough and allowing it to become reality in your mind, it'll eventually become reality. Does this mean deluding yourself or being arrogant? Absolutely not. It means aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the person you need to embody to create the life you want. It's developing honest self-belief and switching your mindset from hoping and wishing to deciding and committing. Let's look at a common area where this principle can be transformative. Your finances. If you're constantly thinking and saying, "I can't afford that," or "I'll never get out of debt," you're putting out a signal of lack and limitation that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It creates anxiety around money, which leads to poor decisions, missed opportunities, and the cycle continues. But if you started acting as if you were already financially secure and prosperous, wake up each morning and affirm, "I am wealthy." Make decisions from that place of abundance rather than scarcity. When you treat money with respect and make empowered choices, you release much of the stress around it and open yourself to possibilities you'd otherwise miss. By no means am I suggesting you be irresponsible or live in denial of your circumstances. You have to deal with realities, of course. But your internal dialogue and mindset shape those realities over time. As Napoleon Hill says, thoughts are things at that when mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for translation into riches or other material objects. The same applies to any goal, whether it's advancing your career, finding your soulmate, or mastering a skill. Act as if you already have what you want. The right job, the perfect relationship, that level of talent or knowledge. Saturate your mindset and behaviors with the feeling of already being that person. When you catch yourself doubting or thinking limiting thoughts, pause and reset your frame of mind. Ask yourself, how would the successful version of myself think and act in this situation? Then live into that role. It may feel strange and forced at first, like you're faking it or being delusional. That's just your lower self resisting change and wanting to keep you small. Persistence overpowers that lower self. The more you inhabit the mindset of your dreams, the more it becomes natural and authentic. Let's explore another quick story to illustrate this, drawn from my own life. When I first started out in sales, I had no credentials, no experience, and about as much credibility as a kid selling lemonade. But I made a decision. If I was going to achieve my ambitions, I had to act and carry myself as if I was already a massively successful entrepreneur. So when I would go into sales calls, even though I was just a rookie hustling to get by, I would walk into that office or boardroom exuding the poise, assuredness, and professionalism of a seasoned CEO. I acted as if I had decades of proven expertise and offered valuable insights with supreme self-confidence. Did it feel fake at first? You bet. But you know what? By embodying that role, it quickly became my reality. I would leave those sales meetings having booked major new clients, and I'd think, who was that person in there? It was me. I was speaking and acting as the successful man I aimed to become, and people responded to that energy. It was self-fulfilling. My career took off, and within a few years, I was enjoying the success I had only been able to visualize at first. All because I refused to define myself by my current limitations and instead lived into my biggest dreams and aspirations each day. The beauty of this principle is that you can apply it to any area of your life where you're feeling stuck, struggling, or falling short of your goals. Want to be healthier and more energetic? Start acting as if you already have that vibrant physicality and make decisions accordingly. Wish you had a more fulfilling social life? Act as if you're already a warm, charming person who attracts people and builds meaningful connections. One of my favorite examples of this mindset comes from the story of legendary actor James Dean. Despite his extraordinary talent and charisma early in his career, he was just another young, struggling actor going on audition after audition without success. That is, until one day he had a revelatory insight. As he was heading into yet another tryout, mentally going over his usual routines and habits, he asked himself, if I was already a great, famous actor, how would I walk into this room? Dean then made the conscious choice to act accordingly. From that moment on, he approached every audition carrying himself with total self-assurance and star power as if he had already made it big. Well, that simple shift transformed everything for James Dean. Directors and producers were captivated by his commanding presence and confidence. Seemingly overnight, he went from being an unknown to the next big thing in Hollywood, all because he started acting as if his dream had already come true. This mindset is so powerful because when you spend your days feeling inadequate, insecure, and focused on what you lack, you simply don't have the energy or magnetism to create positive things in your life. As I often say, you cannot soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys pecking at you. On the other hand, when you start operating from the mental and emotional place of your goals already being realized, you elevate your vibration. You go from being a small person trying to convince the universe of your worth to being in alignment with the confidence, talents, and success you aspire to. Opportunities start finding you instead of you chasing them. This is the strange paradox. We have to become the person we want to be before having what we want. We have to fully step into and own our idealized self first, and then the manifestation follows. So today, I want to encourage all of you to take some time and really think about what you want to create in your life. What is the ultimate vision of health, wealth, career advancement, relationships, personal growth? The dream version of yourself that you aspire to? Get clear on every detail of that vision. Then start immersing your thoughts, words, and actions in that identity each and every day. Wake up in the morning and affirm, today I am acting as the person I want to be. When doubts or old habits creep in, shake them off and reset by asking, is that in alignment with who I'm becoming? Make choices, take actions, and move through your day embodying that elevated role. It may feel artificial at first, like you're play acting or wearing an unconvincing costume. But stick with it. Every spiritual teacher, neurologist, and success philosopher throughout history agrees. You become what you consistently put out into the universe. If you act as if you already have what you want, you will develop the beliefs, habits, vibration, and life to match. So who are you becoming today? Is it that magnetically confident, sought-after professional at the top of their field? Is it the radiant, energetic model of perfect health and fitness you visualize? Is it the loving partner in a passionate, fulfilling relationship? Whatever your greatest vision for yourself is, start being that person now. Don't wait for some distant point of attainment before allowing yourself to step into that character. Do it immediately. None of us have the luxury of putting our dreams on pause. While we wait for conditions to be perfect, life is now, the only moment we're ever guaranteed. So why not spend that moment actualizing your highest self and working towards those goals with the confidence and energy of one who has already accomplished them? Like attracts like. The universe doesn't operate on fantasies or wishes, but on the resonance we put out through our thoughts, emotions, and state of being. So get busy resonating at the highest level possible. Be the success, be the health, be the wealth and happiness you wish for. That's psychologist Abraham Maslow's. What one can be, one must be. We need to be true to our own nature, for this is the ultimate source of happiness. Today, choose to be true to the greatest version of yourself. Act, think, and live as if you already have that beautiful mosaic of prosperity, joy, wellness, and fulfillment you've been picturing. It may feel like the greatest act of make-believe at first, but you commit to it long enough, and before you know it, you've transformed that fantasy into concrete reality. That is the power of this principle. That is what it means to act as if you already possess what you most want out of this life. It's not delusion. It's deliberately aligning yourself with the future you've decided to create. It's showing the universe what you're committed to becoming and encoding that mindset into every fiber of your being. Some may call faking it until you make it, but there's nothing fake about it. It's just being the person you know in your heart you're capable of. It's embodying your highest potential here and now rather than existing in a constant state of striving and wanting. So embrace it, live it, breathe it each moment. Act as if you're already who you were put on this earth to be. Because if you can master that, my friends, there is no dream too big, no vision you cannot achieve. You become unstoppable in the grandest way. You go from being a passenger waiting on life to the architect designing every beautiful detail and laying the foundations in the present moment. So step into that empowered identity now and start building something incredible. Act as if success, abundance, joy, and fulfillment are your natural states of being. And just watch how quickly the universe starts cooperating to make it so. That is the ultimate path of the dream achiever, the legacy creator, the soul who lives in total alignment with their highest purpose. Can you feel that potential welling up inside you today? Can you start giving it breath and shape through your thoughts, words, and movements? I know you can. I believe in you as that person because you wouldn't be here today if some part of you didn't believe it too. Let's go out and make that belief our permanent reality. Let's spend our days embodying our greatest. That is how we not only achieve our goals, but transcend them and access a life of constant evolution and magnificence. We become an unstoppable upward spiral, outgrowing our dreams nearly as quickly as we create them. So no more waiting for someday, no more doubts or limiting stories. From this moment, you commit to being the person you were put on this planet to be. You act as if greatness is your birthright. You embody the champion within. And with that committed mindset fueling you, there is nothing you cannot manifest and become. A new world of peace, health, prosperity, and fulfillment awaits you when you start living as if it already belongs to you. Because it does, my friends. It always has. Now go claim it once and for all. One of the most powerful aspects of embodying your idealized self is how it builds unshakable self-belief. When you spend your days feeling small, inadequate, and focused on your limitations, you're essentially telling the universe, I don't have what it takes. That vibe of self-doubt becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, repelling the very opportunities and circumstances you desire. But flip the script and start moving through the world as if you're already operating at your highest level. Suddenly, you're broadcasting an entirely different frequency, an energy of quiet confidence and expectation that good things are headed your way. You stop giving fear, scarcity, and negativity any power over you. You're too busy being the person who naturally attracts abundance. As the old saying goes, what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. By acting as if you already embody the qualities of who you want to be, you encode those qualities into your neurology until they become hardwired habits and mindsets. Your self-belief soars because you're no longer just dreaming about potential. You're experiencing it daily as your status quo. Does this mean you'll never again have moments of doubt or struggle? Of course not. We're all human, and personal growth is a lifelong journey of ebbs and flows. But embodying the idealized you builds an unshakable core belief that you have what it takes to create the life you want. Whereas before, the doubts may have derailed you. Now they're just temporary speed bumps on the road because your fundamental identity is rooted in self-assurance. When Jim Carrey was a struggling, broke comedian in the 1980s, he famously wrote himself a $10 million check with a goal of manifesting that dream reality. More importantly, though, he started carrying himself as if he was already the incredibly successful comedy superstar he aimed to become. In his own words, I'd visualize things coming to me. It would just make me feel better. Visualization works in anything you believe you can achieve. Carrey so deeply inhabited that future actualized self through his mindset and behaviors that its manifestation into his outer reality became inevitable. Because that's the truth. You cannot consistently act as if you already have the success, confidence, talent, or qualities you aspire to without making it a physical reality. The two are inextricably linked. Another profound benefit of embodying the idealized you. You're no longer being held captive by your past limitations, failures, or negative self-talk. How often do we let our shortcomings and mistakes define our self-perception, and then subconsciously put the brakes on our biggest dreams because of it? Of course I can't start that business. Look at how I failed at my last job. What makes me think I can get in shape when I've tried and failed so many times before? I'm not the type of person who could ever attract an amazing romantic partner. Sound familiar? We've all fallen into that defeatist mindset at some point, letting our past dictate our perceived possibilities. But when you reset your self-image and decide today, I am the person I want to become, I release the past and all its limits. You free yourself to start with a blank slate. It doesn't matter what you previously thought you were capable of, because today you're a new person operating at a higher level. You're no longer constrained by your former circumstances or beliefs about yourself. Suddenly the lifetime goal that seemed impossible is well within reach because the person you're choosing to be makes it inevitable. By simply aligning your behaviors, self-perception, and moment-to-moment choices with your idealized self, you override all the old programming and stories that used to hold you back. It's a mental and energetic fresh start. I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you that embodying the idealized you isn't about arrogance or ego, but rather finding an unshakable belief in your own innate worth and capabilities. Too often, we let false humility, self-deprecation, and feelings of inadequacy become a cozy comfort zone that justifies playing small. We tell ourselves, I'm just being realistic about my limits as a way to avoid ever testing the boundaries of our true potential. But that mindset is what's unrealistic. It's selling yourself vastly short. True humility and confidence aren't opposing forces, but dance partners. The more rooted you become in recognizing your authentic greatness and embodying that dimension of self, the less you're attached to ego or pretense. You can be humble, down to earth, and grounded while still operating with supreme self-assurance. The path to that unshakable self-belief and internal power? You guessed it? Start acting as if you already possess the calm, assured self-worth you've been seeking. It will retrain your psyche and gradually become hard-coded into your identity. Here's the paradox in action. By deciding today that you're finally done with self-sabotage, procrastination, and buying into your own BS stories of why you can't create the life you want, you're already operating as that more empowered you. Simply making that committed choice and following through is you embodying greater self-belief. From there, keep leaning into that new way of being. Start your day by affirming, I move through this world as a person of boundless courage and worth. Incredible achievements come naturally to me. Then find small ways to physically anchor those affirmations into reality. Walk with your head held high. Make consistent progress on your goals. And act as if existing at your highest potential is second nature. At first, you may still hear those old inner critics throwing shade and trying to drag you back into doubt. That's all the more reason to stay firmly rooted in your new identity. Keep affirming the truth of your power and taking actions to reinforce it. Starve those limiting beliefs by never giving that air breathe. You know what happens when you do that day after day, week after week? Your unconscious mind starts to integrate this way of being as your new normal. Those affirmations stop feeling like suggestions and become hardwired patterns you can't overcome but simply become. Imposter syndrome evaporates because you are no longer an imposter. You're actively embodying the highest frequencies of confidence, self-worth, and personal power. At that point, you may even find yourself looking back on your former limited self with bemusement. Can you believe I ever bought into that ridiculous story that I wasn't deserving of greatness? The insecurities and self-sabotaging ways that once seemed unshakable now carry no weight or charge. They melt away completely when starved of your energy or belief. So if you've struggled with crippling doubt, negative self-talk, and that constant feeling of I'm just not capable of big things, let today be your turning point. Decide right here and now that you're finally letting go of those disempowering patterns for good. You're no longer accepting a self-perception that sells you monstrously short. Instead, from this day forward, you begin operating as the person who already has built impeccable self-worth and confidence into their core identity. Every morning, wake up and inhabit that powerful new normal. Speak the affirmations, take the actions, and make the choices that are in alignment with you as your most actualized self. It may feel like an act at first. I won't lie. There will be moments those old voices try to lure you back into doubt. But with consistency and commitment, honoring this new way of being, it will very quickly solidify into a whole new level of demonstrating self-belief and self-assurance in everything you do. The beautiful cycle begins of your actions and identity reinforcing one another. The more you embody that supreme self-worth, the more evidence you start finding to validate it through your rising accomplishments, connections, and personal growth, and that only breeds more belief in your limitless potential going forward. Before you know it, you've transcended that former restricted identity completely. Now your daily experience interactions with the world, and sense of self is operating from the highest vantage of anything is possible for me, because I've already claimed the reality of being powerful beyond measure. That is the ultimate gift of acting as if you already have what you want. You don't have to wait for the dream circumstances or achievements before recognizing and embodying the radiant, unstoppable version of yourself that creates those outer successes. You access the source energy that generates those outward manifestations you desire, not through arrogance or feigned displays, but by grounding yourself in your truest, most authentic sense of unshakable self-worth and possibility that's been inside you all along. Then letting that way of being propel you into an entirely new reality. So let today be the starting point for no longer selling yourself short on any level. Decide that you, the magnificent, limitless, divinely born, you are rewriting any former limiting scripts starting now. You're upgrading your operating frequency through the choices, beliefs, and actions reflecting your highest human potential. Then simply honor that commitment moment to moment. Affirm it, anchor it with action, and refuse to accept anything less from yourself. Consistency creates the groove until being that actualized, empowered version of you is no longer something you have to act as if, but merely take your next breath from that new level of awareness. That's how true self-mastery and creation of your dream life begins, my friends. Not through chasing the symbols or circumstances you think will make you confident, successful, or happy, but by being the source energy those things emanate from first. And you can activate that core frequency in yourself anytime simply by acting as if you already possess what you most want. So if there's any wisdom to take away here today, let it be this. You have permission to start living as the greatest version of yourself right now. Not after another course, not when the timing is perfect, not once you've checked off a certain list of accomplishments. The time is now to let that idealized you finally breathe and take center stage in your life. There's a powerful, abundant, radically fulfilled version of you that is possible when you shed the limits and stories that were never true expressions of your potential anyway. You get to decide to start being that person immediately through the resonance you put out into the universe. Stop rehearsing being small, undeserving, or doubting yourself. That programming has convinced you to settle for the limited, fear-driven experience for too long. Today, you activate the truth that you are a limitless creator, expressing the glory of this same creative force that birthed galaxies with your presence here. You get to stand in the fullness of what it means to be a consciously aware, infinite soul overflowing with talents, abundance, deserving, and love. And the way you do that, embody those qualities of your highest self with how you think, move through the world, and command your life force. Act as if you already possess the most phenomenal versions of health, wealth, success, joy, and inner peace you can imagine. Live it, breathe it, anchor it into every cell of your being. Because what we act as if we already are is simply what then becomes part of our immutable reality. You have that unstoppable power to write the script of your life's brilliance every moment, to no longer accept smallness and doubt, but to operationalize your true, infinite potential by being it now. No more waiting for the dream to manifest before you claim that supreme state of empowered self-worth and abundance. Today, you choose to live from that resourceful, limitless frequency first. And from there are no goals too big, no transformations that can't be realized, because you're no longer approaching your desires from a place of conditions and limits, but from already vibrating at the level of your greatest achievements being inevitable. It's not that reality hasn't caught up yet. It's that you've tapped into the root creative energy shaping all of your realities moving forward. So today I simply invite you. Come immerse yourself in that most authentic, expansive version of who you came here to be. Release the old conditioned narratives because they were never the truth of your essence in the first place. Step into inhabiting the mindset, emotions, and presence of the person who already walks as the radiant embodiment of health, wealth, fearless self-assurance, compassion, freedom, love, and creative power that you've dreamed of. That's not an identity to put on, but one to simply allow yourself to be, to give breath and form to the highest frequencies that are your birthright as a divine being of limitless potential having this human experience. So have that human experience rooted in owning every dimension of your magnificence. Allow yourself to think, choose, take action, and move in alignment with the incredibly blessed, talented, treasured soul you already are at your core. Give yourself permission to stop accepting a life of smallness and limitation ever again. You are so much bigger and more extraordinary than those boxes could ever contain. As you start existing more and more from that energetic place of empowered being that you've always embodied, the external world will have no choice but to reorganize itself in concert with your new vibration. Opportunities, abundance, love, inspiration. All the virtues you've longed for will flow to you in ever-increasing measure because you're essentially manifesting those realities by merely actualizing the truer self that's been waiting to be acknowledged. So no more pushing, striving, or relying on outside conditions before you grant yourself access to that supreme state of peace, confidence, and expressed actualization. Starting today, you are that fullest expression through how you choose to direct your focus, actions, and way of being. Just keep answering the call to rise up and embody your mightiest, unstoppable self. Give it devoted and loving presence through each breath, thought, and deed. Let that frequency become the new operating system for how you experience this entire existence. And watch with awe and gratitude as your external reality reorganizes itself to match the brilliance you've decided to beam forth. You were born to do this, my friends, to be this. All that's ever been required is your willingness to let that brightest light within you shine with reckless, devoted radiance here and now. So why wait another moment to finally let your supreme essence be fully embodied, honored, and expressed through every fiber of your being? Step into acting as if you are the most phenomenal version of yourself you've dreamed of from this day forward. Live in perpetual alignment with that ideal self through your thoughts, actions, and presence. Give it air to breathe and root into your bones through sacred devotion. And witness the entire universe conspiring to exquisitely mirror back to you the glory of what's been inside you all along, just waiting to be acknowledged and realized. You hold that unstoppable creative power to be, do, and have anything your heart truly desires. So today, choose to be limitless, infinite, divinely actualized in every way. Act as if it's already your living truth, and you'll shine that brilliant light so brightly that the universe has no choice but to joyously reflect your highest dream back to you in this reality. Trust that you already possess everything required. Now decide to start fully and devotedly being that extraordinary self without hesitation or apology as you move forward, hand to the heavens, heart open wide, your smile radiating the unstoppable joy of the transcendent creator essence you are. This is what you've been leading up to all along, my friends. The time has arrived to fully live and breathe as that great force of beauty and love you were destined to become. So step into that freedom with every ounce of your being and let yourself be the dazzling, limitless soul this world has been waiting for you to be. Life is a series of choices, and the most important choice you can make is to act with courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. It's about facing your fears head on and taking action despite them. When you learn to act as if you are courageous, your dreams will become reality. Think about the last time you faced a challenge. Maybe it was a job interview, a difficult conversation, or a new opportunity. Did you shrink back in fear, or did you step up and face it with courage? The truth is, courage is a muscle that needs to be exercised regularly. The more you act with courage, the stronger that muscle becomes. One of the biggest obstacles to acting with courage is self-doubt. We often tell ourselves that we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to achieve our dreams. But the reality is, Those are just stories we tell ourselves. They're not based on facts or evidence. When you learn to recognize those stories for what they are, just stories, you can start to rewrite them. Instead of telling yourself that you're not good enough, start telling yourself that you are capable and deserving of success. Instead of focusing on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths and the unique value you bring to the table. When you change your self-talk, you change your mindset, and that's when the magic happens. Another key to acting with courage is to surround yourself with people who believe in you and support your dreams. We all need cheerleaders in our lives, people who will encourage us when we're feeling down and celebrate our successes with us. Seek out those people and cultivate those relationships. They will be your rock when times get tough. But even with a supportive network, there will still be times when you have to face your fears alone. That's when it's important to remember that courage is a choice. You can choose to let fear hold you back, or you can choose to act in spite of it. When you choose courage, you open yourself up to new possibilities and opportunities that you never would have experienced otherwise. Think about the people you admire most in life. Chances are they all have one thing in common. They acted with courage. They didn't let fear hold them back from pursuing their dreams and making a difference in the world. They faced their fears head on and took action, even when it was hard. One of the most powerful examples of courage in action is the story of Rosa Parks. In 1955, Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white passenger, despite the laws of segregation at the time. Her act of courage sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and helped to ignite the civil rights movement. Parks didn't let fear stop her from standing up for what she believed in, and her bravery changed the course of history. Another example of courage is the story of Terry Fox. In 1980, Fox embarked on a cross-Canada run to raise money for cancer research, despite having lost his leg to the disease. He ran an average of 26 miles per day for 143 days straight before his cancer returned and forced him to stop. Fox's courage and determination inspired millions of people around the world and helped to raise over $750 million for cancer research. These stories remind us that courage is not about being fearless, but about taking action in the face of fear. It's about choosing to do what's right, even when it's hard. And when you learn to act with courage, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. So how can you start acting with courage today? The first step is to identify your fears and face them head on. What are you afraid of? Is it failure, rejection, change? Whatever it is, acknowledge it. And then ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I face this fear? Chances are, the worst case scenario is not nearly as bad as you think. Once you've identified your fears, the next step is to take action. Start small if you need to, but take action nonetheless. If you're afraid of public speaking, volunteer to give a presentation at work or join a Toastmasters club. If you're afraid of change, take a small step outside your comfort zone each day. The more you face your fears, the easier it will become. Another way to act with courage is to reframe your thinking. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, focus on what could go right. Instead of dwelling on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths. When you shift your mindset from fear to possibility, you open yourself up to new opportunities and experiences. It's also important to remember that courage is not a one-time event, but a daily practice. You have to choose courage every day, in every situation. Some days will be easier than others, but the more you practice courage, the stronger that muscle will become. And here's the thing, when you act with courage, you inspire others to do the same. Your bravery has a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. When you stand up for what you believe in, when you take risks and pursue your dreams, you give others permission to do the same. So don't wait for someone else to give you permission to be courageous. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect opportunity. The time to act with courage is now. The world needs more people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, who are willing to take risks and pursue their dreams. And when you do, amazing things will happen. You'll discover new talents and abilities that you never knew you had. You'll form deep and meaningful connections with others who share your values and your vision. You'll make a difference in the world, no matter how small or large. But most importantly, you'll become the person you were meant to be. You'll stop living in fear and start living in possibility. You'll stop settling for less and start reaching for more. You'll stop playing small and start playing big. Because when you learn to act as if you're courageous, your dreams will become reality. You'll be able to accomplish things you never thought possible. You'll be able to overcome obstacles and challenges that once seemed insurmountable. You'll be able to live a life of purpose and meaning, filled with joy and fulfillment. So start today. Take that first step, no matter how small. Face your fears head on and choose courage over comfort. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and support your dreams. And most importantly, believe in yourself. Believe that you have what it takes to achieve your goals and make a difference in the world. Because the truth is, you do. You have everything you need inside of you to live a life of courage and purpose. All you have to do is take that first step. So what are you waiting for? The world is waiting for you. Your dreams are waiting for you. Your purpose is waiting for you. All you have to do is act with courage and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Remember, courage is not about being fearless. It's about taking action in the face of fear. It's about choosing to do what's right, even when it's hard. And when you learn to act with courage, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. So take that first step today. Face your fears head on and choose courage over comfort. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and support your dreams. And most importantly, believe in yourself. Believe that you have what it takes to achieve your goals and make a difference in the world. Because when you learn to act as if you are courageous, your dreams will become reality. And it's important to remember that courage is not just about the big, life-changing moments. It's also about the small, everyday choices we make. It's about choosing to be kind, even when others are not. It's about choosing to be honest, even when it's easier to lie. It's about choosing to stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular. These small acts of courage may not seem like much in the moment, but they add up over time. They create a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. When you choose to be kind, you inspire others to do the same. When you choose to be honest, you create a culture of trust and transparency. When you choose to stand up for what's right, you give others permission to do the same. And that's how change happens. Not through grand gestures or heroic acts, but through the small, everyday choices we make. Through the courage we show in the face of fear, the kindness we extend to others, and the integrity we bring to everything we do. But it's not always easy to act with courage. There will be times when you're tempted to take the easy way out, to give in to fear or self-doubt. That's when it's important to remember your why. Why do you want to be courageous? Why do you want to pursue your dreams? Why do you want to make a difference in the world? When you connect with your why, you tap into a deep well of motivation and inspiration. You remind yourself of what's truly important, and you find the strength to keep going even when things get tough. One way to stay connected to your why is to surround yourself with people who share your values and your vision. Find mentors and role models who have faced similar challenges and overcome them. Join communities of like-minded individuals who can support you and encourage you along the way. Another way to stay motivated is to celebrate your successes, no matter how small. When you take a step outside your comfort zone, when you face a fear head-on, when you achieve a goal you've been working towards, take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate that victory. Give yourself permission to feel proud of what you've accomplished, and use that momentum to keep moving forward. But perhaps the most important thing to remember is that courage is not about perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out, and you don't have to get it right every time. Courage is about showing up even when you're scared. It's about taking action, even when you're not sure of the outcome. It's about being willing to fail and then picking yourself up and trying again. Because the truth is, failure is a part of the journey. It's not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be embraced and learned from. Every failure is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become a better version of yourself. And when you learn to embrace failure, you free yourself from the fear of it. You stop letting it hold you back, and you start using it as a tool for growth and transformation. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to take risks and try new things. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and pursue your dreams. Because the only way to achieve greatness is to be willing to fail along the way. And remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are people all around you who are facing their own fears and pursuing their own dreams. There are people who have been where you are and have come out the other side stronger and wiser. Seek out those people. Learn from their experiences and their wisdom. Let their stories inspire you and give you hope. And when you have the opportunity, be that person for someone else. Share your own stories of courage and resilience and help others find the strength to keep going. Because that's what life is all about. It's about connection and community. It's about lifting each other up and supporting one another through the challenges and the triumphs. It's about being a part of something bigger than ourselves and making a difference in the world. And when you learn to act with courage, you become a part of that something bigger. You become a force for good in the world, a beacon of hope and inspiration for others. So don't wait for someone else to give you permission to be courageous. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect opportunity. The time to act with courage is now. The world needs more people like you, people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, who are willing to take risks and pursue their dreams. And when you do, amazing things will happen. You'll discover new talents and abilities that you never knew you had. You'll form deep and meaningful connections with others who share your values and your vision. You'll make a difference in the world, no matter how small or large. But most importantly, you'll become the person you were meant to be. You'll stop living in fear and start living in possibility. You'll stop settling for less and start reaching for more. You'll stop playing small and start playing big. Because when you learn to act as if you are courageous, your dreams will become reality. You'll be able to accomplish things you never thought possible. You'll be able to overcome obstacles and challenges that once seemed insurmountable. You'll be able to live a life of purpose and meaning, filled with joy and fulfillment. And that's a life worth living. That's a life worth fighting for. That's a life worth being courageous for. So start today. Take that first step, no matter how small. Face your fears head on and choose courage over comfort. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and support your dreams. And most importantly, believe in yourself. Believe that you have what it takes to achieve your goals and make a difference in the world. Because the truth is, you do. You have everything you need inside of you to live a life of courage and purpose. All you have to do is take that first step. And when you do, the world will open up to you in ways you never thought possible. You'll discover new opportunities and experiences that you never knew existed. You'll meet new people and form new relationships that will change your life for the better. You'll find a sense of purpose and meaning that will guide you through even the toughest of times. But it all starts with that first step. It all starts with the decision to act with courage, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even when you're not sure what the outcome will be. Because that's what courage is all about. It's about taking action in the face of fear. It's about choosing to do what's right, even when it's hard. It's about believing in yourself and your dreams, even when others don't. And when you learn to act with courage, you inspire others to do the same. You create a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. You become a leader, a role model, and a force for good in the world. So don't wait any longer. Don't let fear hold you back from living the life you were meant to live. Don't let self-doubt or insecurity keep you from pursuing your dreams. Instead, choose courage. Choose to take action even when it's hard. Choose to believe in yourself and your abilities. Choose to surround yourself with people who support and encourage you. And most importantly, choose to never give up. Choose to keep going, even when things get tough. Choose to learn from your failures and use them as stepping stones to success. Because when you do, there's no limit to what you can achieve. There's no dream too big, no goal too ambitious, no challenge too great. You have the power within you to create the life you want, to make a difference in the world, and to leave a lasting legacy. All you have to do is act with courage and watch as your dreams become reality. So, take that first step today. Face your fears head on and choose courage over comfort. Believe in yourself and your ability to achieve great things, and never, ever give up on your dreams. Because when you learn to act as if you are courageous, anything is possible, and that's a truth worth living for. Let's take a moment to reflect on some of the most courageous people in history. People like Mahatma Gandhi, who led a nonviolent resistance movement against British rule in India. Gandhi faced imprisonment, violence, and discrimination, but he never wavered in his commitment to peaceful protest and civil disobedience. His courage and determination inspired millions of people around the world and helped to bring about India's independence. Or consider the bravery of Malala Yousafzai, the young Pakistani activist who was shot by the Taliban for advocating for girls' education. Despite the threat to her life, Malala continued to speak out for the rights of girls and women, and her story has become a symbol of courage and resilience around the world. These are just a few examples of the countless individuals who have shown extraordinary courage in the face of adversity. But the truth is, you don't have to be a famous activist or leader to act with courage. Courage can be found in the everyday choices we make, in the way we treat others, and in the way we pursue our dreams. One of the most important things to remember about courage is that it's not about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's about acknowledging your doubts and insecurities, but refusing to let them hold you back. And that's where the power of positive self-talk comes in. When you're facing a challenge or pursuing a dream, it's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts and self-doubt. But by consciously choosing to speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, you can shift your mindset and tap into your inner strength. So instead of telling yourself, I can't do this, try saying, I can do this and I will. Instead of focusing on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths and the progress you've already made. And instead of dwelling on past failures, remind yourself of all the times you've overcome obstacles and achieved your goals. By cultivating a positive inner dialogue, you'll be better equipped to face your fears and take bold action towards your dreams. You'll be more resilient in the face of setbacks and more confident in your ability to succeed. But it's not just about what you say to yourself. It's also about what you do. Courage is an action, not just a feeling. It's about taking concrete steps towards your goals, even when it's hard or uncomfortable. So if you're afraid of public speaking, sign up for a Toastmasters class or volunteer to give a presentation at work. If you're afraid of failure, set small, achievable goals and celebrate each victory along the way. If you're afraid of change, take one small step outside your comfort zone each day, whether it's trying a new food or striking up a conversation with a stranger. The more you practice acting with courage, the easier it will become. And as you build that courage muscle, you'll start to see new opportunities and possibilities opening up in your life. But it's not just about personal growth and achievement, it's also about the impact you can have on others. When you act with courage, you inspire others to do the same. You become a role model and a leader, showing others what's possible when you refuse to let fear hold you back. Think about the people in your life who have inspired you with their courage. Maybe it's a friend who stood up to a bully or a family member who pursued their dreams despite the odds. Maybe it's a public figure who used their platform to speak out against injustice, or a teacher who believed in you when no one else did. These people didn't let fear stop them from doing what was right or pursuing what mattered most to them. And in doing so, they made a difference in the world and in the lives of those around them. You have that same power within you. You have the ability to act with courage, to inspire others, and to make a positive impact on the world. All you have to do is take that first step. So what are you waiting for? What dream have you been putting off? What fear have you been letting hold you back? Whatever it is, know that you have the courage within you to face it head on and come out stronger on the other side. It won't be easy, and there will be obstacles and setbacks along the way. But with each challenge you overcome, with each fear you face, you'll grow in confidence and resilience. You'll discover new strengths and abilities within yourself, and you'll inspire others to do the same. And as you pursue your dreams with courage, remember to be kind to yourself along the way. Remember that progress isn't always linear, and that setbacks are a natural part of the journey. Remember to celebrate your victories no matter how small, and to learn from your failures. Most importantly, remember that you are not alone. There are people all around you who are facing their own fears and pursuing their own dreams. Seek out those people, learn from them, and support one another along the way. Because together, we can create a world where courage is the norm, not the exception. A world where people are free to pursue their passions and make a difference without letting fear hold them back. A world where every individual has the opportunity to become the best version of themselves and live a life of purpose and meaning. That's the world we can create if we choose to act with courage, if we choose to take bold action towards our dreams, to stand up for what's right, and to inspire others along the way. So let's make that choice today and every day. Let's choose courage over fear, action over inaction, and purpose over complacency. Let's become the leaders and role models we wish to see in the world, and let's create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it, because when we learn to act as if we are courageous, when we refuse to let fear hold us back, there's no limit to what we can achieve. We can change lives, we can change communities, we can change the world. So let's start today. Let's take that first step, no matter how small, towards a life of courage and purpose. Let's surround ourselves with people who believe in us and support our dreams. And let's never, ever give up on what matters most. Because when we learn to act as if we are courageous, anything is possible. And that's a truth worth living for. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want to leave you with one final thought. Courage is not a destination. It's a way of life. It's not something you achieve once and then never have to work at again. It's a daily practice, a constant choice to face your fears and take action towards your dream. Some days will be harder than others. Some challenges will feel insurmountable. But know that you have the strength within you to keep going, to keep pushing forward, no matter what obstacles come your way. And know that every act of courage, no matter how small, makes a difference. Every time you choose to face your fears, every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, every time you stand up for what you believe in, you are making the world a better place. So keep going. Keep believing in yourself and your dreams. Keep surrounding yourself with people who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self. And most importantly, keep choosing courage even when it's hard. Because when you do, you'll look back on your life and be amazed at all that you've accomplished. You'll see the lives you've touched, the difference you've made, and the person you've become. And you'll know that it was all worth it. So here's to a life of courage, a life of purpose, a life of meaning. Here's to becoming the best version of ourselves and creating a better world for all. Here's to learning to act as if we are courageous and watching as our dreams become reality. My friends, I come before you today to share a powerful message that has the potential to transform your lives in profound ways. It's a message that goes against the grain of what we've been taught. A message that challenges the very core of how we've been conditioned to think and feel. Today, I implore you to learn the art of acting as if you are motionless. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But Jim, Aren't emotions what make us human? Aren't they what give our lives color and vibrancy? And you'd be right to an extent. Emotions are indeed a fundamental part of the human experience, and they serve an important purpose. They help us navigate the complexities of life, guiding us towards what feels good and away from what feels bad. But here's the thing, my friends, it can also be our greatest downfall. They can cloud our judgment, distort our perception, and lead us down paths that are ultimately detrimental to our well-being. How many times have you made a decision based on pure emotion only to regret it later? How often have you allowed your feelings to dictate your actions rather than your rational mind? Let me share a story with you, one that illustrates the power of acting as if you are emotionless. Imagine a skilled surgeon standing over an operating table, scalpel in hand. The life of a patient lies in their capable hands. Now, let's say this surgeon is overcome with emotion, fear, anxiety, doubt. All perfectly natural feelings, but ones that could prove disastrous in such a high-stakes situation. Their hands might tremble, their focus might waver, and the consequences could be catastrophic. But what if the surgeon had the ability to act as if they were emotionless, to approach the procedure with a calm, steady hand, a clear mind, and an unwavering focus? The chances of success would increase exponentially, and the patient's life would be in far safer hands. You see, my friends, there are times in our lives when emotions can be a liability, times when we need to tap into a higher level of consciousness, a state of being where we are not governed by our feelings, but by our rational minds. Now, I'm not suggesting that we suppress our emotions entirely. That would be unhealthy and unnatural. What I'm proposing is that we learn to act as if we are emotionless in those moments when emotions could cloud our judgment or impede our progress. Think about it this way. When you're driving a car, you wouldn't allow yourself to be consumed by road rage or anxiety, would you? No, you'd remain calm, focused, and in control, acting as if you were emotionless, because the consequences of losing that emotional control could be catastrophic. The same principle applies to so many areas of our lives. In business negotiations, for example, it's crucial to maintain a level head and not let emotions like greed or fear dictate our decisions. In personal relationships, acting as if we are emotionless can help us navigate conflicts with clarity and wisdom, rather than being swept away by the tides of passion or anger. But how, you might ask? Do we learn to act as if we are emotionless? It's not an easy task, my friends, but it is one that can be mastered with practice and discipline. First, we must cultivate self-awareness. We must become intimately familiar with our emotional patterns, our triggers, and our tendencies. Only then can we begin to recognize when our emotions are threatening to take over and take steps to regain control. Next, we must develop the ability to detach ourselves from our emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing them entirely, but rather observing them with a sense of curious detachment, as if they were clouds passing overhead. We must learn to witness our emotions without becoming consumed by them. And finally, we must practice. Just as an actor rehearses their lines until they become second nature, we must rehearse the art of acting as if we are emotionless until it becomes a natural part of our repertoire. Now, let me be clear. Acting as if you are emotionless is not about becoming a cold, unfeeling automaton. Quite the contrary. It's about achieving a higher level of emotional mastery where you are in control of your emotions rather than being controlled by them. Imagine the power you would wield if you could approach every situation with a clear, focused mind, unencumbered by the weight of emotion. Imagine the doors that would open for you, the opportunities that would present themselves, the heights you could reach. Of course, there will be times when it's appropriate, even necessary, to embrace our emotions fully. When we're celebrating a joyous occasion or mourning a loss or expressing our deepest love and affection, we should allow ourselves to feel those emotions in their entirety. But in those moments when emotion threatens to derail us, when it could lead us down a path of poor decisions and negative consequences, that is when we must learn to act as if we are emotionless. My friends, this is not an easy path to walk. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and a commitment to personal growth. But the rewards are immeasurable, a life lived with clarity, focus, and emotional mastery. So I implore you, take up this challenge. Embark on the journey of learning to act as if you are emotionless. It won't be easy, but few things worth achieving ever are. And when the going gets tough, when the emotions threaten to overwhelm you, remember the wise words of the ancient Stoic philosophers. It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about those things. In other words, it is not the external circumstances that dictate our emotional state, but rather our internal interpretation of those circumstances. And that, my friends, is something we can learn to control. So let us commit to this path together. Let us become masters of our emotions rather than slaves to them. Let us learn to act as if we are emotionless, not because we are devoid of feeling, but because we have achieved a higher level of emotional mastery. And in doing so, we will unlock a power within ourselves that few ever tap into, the power of clarity, focus, and unwavering determination. Think about how our emotions sometimes lead us astray. We might lash out in anger, saying things we don't mean. Fear might grip us, preventing us from taking risks that could lead to great rewards. Now, what if I told you there was a way to take control, to harness the power of acting as if you have no emotions at all? It sounds strange, I know. Emotions are what give our lives meaning. But hear me out. Think of a skilled surgeon in the middle of a complex procedure. Their patient's life depends on their steady hands and focused mind. Can this surgeon afford to be overcome by fear or anxiety? No. They need to operate as if they're emotionless, achieving a state where their actions are dictated by pure logic and skill. We all have moments in our lives that demand a similar level of clarity. Imagine the calm negotiator in a high-stakes business deal, not letting greed or panic cloud their judgment, or a person in a troubled relationship, able to set aside hurt and anger to see the situation rationally and find a solution. This isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. That would be impossible and frankly not healthy. Instead, it's about learning to control our emotions in situations where they might sabotage our goals or lead us to make regrettable choices. So how do we do it? It starts with self-awareness. We have to understand what makes us tick emotionally, the situations or people that trigger big reactions. This allows us to anticipate our emotional responses and put up some mental safeguards. Next, we learn to mentally step back from our feelings. We observe them with a sense of detachment, like watching clouds float by. We still feel the emotion, but we don't let it take over. Most importantly, this is a skill that needs practice. Just like an actor rehearses until their lines flow naturally, we need to rehearse staying calm and detached under pressure. The more we do it, the easier it becomes. And believe me, there will be times it feels impossible. Emotions are powerful forces, but imagine the benefits. A life where you're the master of your emotions instead of a slave to them. Imagine walking into any situation, a negotiation, an argument, a big presentation, with an unwavering sense of focus and composure. That kind of power is within your reach. Let me be clear. This isn't about denying our humanity. It's about understanding just how much influence our emotions have over us and seizing a level of control that most people never dream of. We should celebrate our emotional depth, embrace joy and sadness. However, in those moments when feeling too deeply hinders us, there's freedom in knowing we can choose to act as if we were emotionless, achieving a laser-like focus that unlocks opportunities and helps us become the best version of ourselves. This journey isn't easy. It takes commitment and a willingness to face the messy, often uncomfortable parts of ourselves. But the rewards are truly life-changing. This emotional mastery you're developing has ripple effects in every area of your life. Think about your relationships. When you understand and regulate your own feelings, you become less reactive to the emotions of others. Imagine remaining calm, even when your partner or a friend is upset. This creates space for true understanding, for problem solving without unnecessary drama. You become the rock for people you love, a source of support because you're not swept away by their emotional storm. This level of control is like a superpower in the workplace too. A boss who's known for their even temper earns respect and cooperation. They can handle tense situations without flying off the handle, creating an environment where people feel safe and do their best work. As for you, well, when you aren't derailed by insecurities or petty squabbles, you focus on the things that actually propel your career forward. And speaking of focus, have you ever been gripped by fear before something important, like a presentation or an interview? Your mind might race, your palms might sweat. This is your body's way of preparing to face a threat. But when you've mastered the art of acting emotionless, you can turn off that fight or flight response. You approach these tasks calmly, and your clear mind allows you to give your best performance. Over time, this way of being transforms your sense of self. When you know you control your emotions instead of them controlling you, a deep confidence grows within you. You start to feel unshakable. Setbacks might sting, but they don't define you. You weather challenges with a resilience that others admire. Remember, this is a process. Some days will be easier than others. But like the Stoic philosophers centuries ago taught us, it's not what happens to us that causes our pain, it's the way we react to it. Therein lies our power. We might not control life's circumstances, but we can control our response. This is true freedom. So I urge you, embrace this journey, explore your emotional triggers, practice detaching from your feelings, seek out resources and wisdom about how to achieve a greater understanding of your inner world. It's a pursuit that will continue to nourish and enrich your life in countless ways. And when you find yourself in those messy moments of overwhelming emotion, just remember, you have the power to act as if you are emotionless, to center yourself, to rise above, and to walk through life with both clarity and heartfelt passion. Let's talk about how to actually put this power into practice. First, start paying close attention to your body's reactions. When you feel a strong surge of emotion, positive or negative, observe yourself closely. Does your heart race? Do your muscles tense up? These physical cues can give you a heads up that a big emotional wave is coming and that it's time to employ your strategies. One helpful technique is mindful breathing. Focusing on your breath, counting inhales and exhales can help ground you in the present moment and slow down a runaway reaction. It's a subtle yet surprisingly powerful tool that you can use anywhere, anytime. Another key practice is journaling. Writing down your emotional experiences in an honest way helps you process them outside of the moment. What caused the reaction? Did your response make the situation better or worse? Over time, these reflections will start to reveal patterns, showing your greatest emotional vulnerabilities and the situations most likely to push your buttons. It's also valuable to actively seek out challenges that push you outside your emotional comfort zone. This could be as simple as giving a presentation to a small group or asking for that raise you know you deserve. The goal isn't to fail, but to intentionally stretch yourself. With every experience, you're training yourself to remain level-headed in the face of strong feeling. Don't underestimate the importance of a supportive community on this journey. If appropriate, talk to a trusted friend or mentor who understands your goals. Consider seeking the guidance of a therapist who can offer personalized tools and advice for strengthening your emotional regulation. Just knowing you aren't alone in this pursuit can make a huge difference. Be kind to yourself throughout this process. Change takes time. There will be days when fear or anger or other intense emotions get the better of you. That's okay. Instead of beating yourself up, try to view those moments as opportunities to learn. Ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? With consistent practice, This way of being will become second nature. You'll start to notice a shift. Situations that used to throw you for a loop will feel more manageable. You'll develop a greater sense of calm, even in the midst of life's storm. You're not just changing your reaction in the moment. You're rewiring how your brain responds to emotional triggers. This journey of emotional mastery is one of the most empowering you'll ever undertake. It will allow you to live your life intentionally with wisdom and unwavering focus. Imagine the possibilities that will open up when you are truly in charge of your emotions, when you have the strength to navigate any challenge with both a cool head and a compassionate heart. As you continue to master this skill, something interesting starts to happen. You won't just act emotionless, you'll start to feel your emotions differently. The grip they once had on you loosens. This doesn't mean you become numb or uncaring, quite the opposite. You'll start to appreciate your emotions for what they are. Valuable signals. Anger might alert you to an injustice that needs addressing. Sadness might highlight a relationship that needs mending. Even anxiety can point to areas where you need to better prepare or set boundaries. But these feelings, once so overwhelming, become like advisors that you listen to carefully, not dictators who must be obeyed. This newfound emotional balance spills over into your enjoyment of life's pleasures. When you're not plagued by constant anxieties or easily triggered by minor annoyances, your ability to experience joy deepens. You become more present to the simple things, a beautiful sunset, a good laugh with friends, a sense of accomplishment after finishing a project. Paradoxically, the more control you have over your emotions, the more fully you feel them when you choose to. Imagine attending a wedding or seeing your child succeed. Instead of being lost in a whirlwind of sentimentality, you can be fully present to the moment, savoring every detail. This is what it means to be emotionally agile, to ride the waves of your feelings without drowning in them. The person you become through this journey might seem almost unrecognizable to your old self. You're stronger, wiser, more resilient. You carry an inner peace that others notice and find attractive. People are drawn to your calm energy, your ability to see clearly even in chaotic situations. You become a natural leader, a source of inspiration to those around you. And the most beautiful part, this journey never really ends. There are always new depths of self-understanding to reach, new ways to refine your emotional awareness. This is what makes life such a rich adventure. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every triumph provides an opportunity to learn and grow. Armed with the power of acting emotionless, you can face every experience with confidence, knowing that no matter what life throws your way, you have the tools within you to overcome, adapt, and thrive. Remember, even the most stoic monks and the most seasoned CEOs experience moments where their emotions get the best of them. The difference lies in how they handle those moments. They don't see a slip-up as a failure, but rather as feedback. This is the key to long-term success. Be patient with yourself. Old habits are hard to break, and emotional patterns often run deep. If you find yourself reacting in a way you wish you hadn't, don't despair. Instead, practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that you're human. Your learning and setbacks are part of the process. Use that moment as motivation to recommit to your practice and try a different approach next time. And let's talk about those different approaches. Experiment. What works to soothe your anger might not be the same thing that helps calm another person. You might find that physical activity helps release pent-up frustration, or that listening to calming music helps your mind slow down. Pay attention to what works for you and create your own personalized toolkit for emotional regulation. As you progress, don't be afraid to challenge yourself in new ways. Perhaps you've always shied away from conflict, letting anger simmer until it boils over. With your newfound skills, try addressing issues directly but without the usual heat of the moment. Or maybe you're easily swept away by excitement, making impulsive decisions you later regret. Practice pausing and carefully considering the long-term consequences before jumping in. Find a community, online or in person, of fellow explorers on this path of emotional mastery. Share your victories, your setbacks, and the wisdom you've gleaned along the way. Knowing others are on similar journeys can offer invaluable support and encouragement. Family, don't lose sight of the ultimate goal, living a life of both deep feeling and profound composure. These qualities aren't mutually exclusive, but rather complementary. The ability to act emotionless when it serves you grants you the freedom to experience your emotions fully when you choose to. Imagine a life where you face any situation with a clear mind, navigate relationships with wisdom and empathy, and savor both the highs and lows with a resilient heart. This is the power that awaits you, a power that will continue to transform you in the most beautiful of ways. Throughout history, those who've mastered their emotions are often the ones who change the world. Think of great leaders like Nelson Mandela, who endured unimaginable hardship without succumbing to hatred or bitterness. Imagine the focus of scientists like Marie Curie, meticulously pursuing their work in the face of countless setbacks. Your own journey won't necessarily make headlines, but it has the power to transform your corner of the world in profound ways. The ripple effects of this inner work start within your closest circles. As your self-awareness deepens, so does your capacity to understand the emotions of others. Think of how this can improve your relationship with a difficult parent or a sensitive child. You become better at putting yourself in their shoes, seeing their triggers and vulnerabilities, leading to more compassion and less conflict. Even seemingly casual interactions change. The stressed out cashier, the impatient coworker, instead of reacting with your own irritation, you're able to meet them with kindness. This doesn't mean you'll never get annoyed, but with practice, you'll be less likely to escalate a situation unnecessarily. It might seem small, but this kind of emotional generosity creates a more peaceful environment for everyone. As you grow in emotional maturity, you'll inspire others to do the same. People are drawn to those who possess a quiet strength and a sense of composure. Perhaps a friend struggling with anxiety sees how you manage your own worries and feels empowered to start their own journey. Or a younger sibling witnesses your ability to handle disappointment with grace, and they begin to adopt that same resilience. You won't always get it right. There will be moments when frustration bubbles up, when sadness feels overwhelming, when joy spins out of control. But remember, the mere awareness that you have a choice is a powerful step in itself. It opens the door to change. This path to emotional mastery is a lifelong undertaking. It's a journey of falling down and getting back up, of discovering your inner strength, and of continually redefining what it means to be truly in control of your life. Embrace the challenge, celebrate the victories, and never lose sight of the incredible person you're becoming. The world needs more people who understand their emotions and choose to use them wisely. Start right now, and let your journey be a source of light and inspiration. Remember, the ability to act emotionless isn't just a clever trick or a tool for personal gain. It's about becoming a force for good. When we aren't controlled by fear, anger, or impulsiveness, we can make clear-headed decisions that serve not just ourselves, but those around us. We become better friends, partners, parents, and global citizens. So I challenge you. Delve into this transformative practice. Study yourself, seek out tools, and find a community that supports your journey. It won't be easy, and it might feel strange at first, but I promise you, the rewards are immeasurable. Imagine waking up each morning armed with the deep, unshakable knowledge that you can face whatever the day holds, both its challenges and its joys, with a steady heart and a focused mind. Imagine the lives you'll touch and the inspiration you'll spark simply by becoming the most emotionally grounded version of yourself. This is the power of acting as if you are emotionless. This is the path to a life lived with intention, a life of clarity, resilience, and unwavering purpose. It's a power that resides within each and every one of us. All it takes is the courage to begin.